Hey there, DMK family. Camilo here, bringing you another episode of Skin Revision with Precision. We're here today visiting one of my favorite people, DMK MD therapist Leola Davis at her beautiful clinic in Beverly Hills, California. Leola's clinic is a sanctuary for inclusive beauty, and we're here to explore how she's using DMK to support our queer and trans family during Pride Month with a special focus on gender-affirming scar revision. So grab your fans and get clacking. Leola, hi.
Hi.
Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
It's so nice to see you.
Good to see you too, BB.
Your new clinic is gorge. I'm living for this space.
Thank you very much.
Of course. Do you want to take a moment to introduce yourself and a little bit more about your aesthetic practice?
Yeah, my name is Leola Davis, aka the Lestetician, and my studio is Pansy Esthetics. This space I built specifically for the queer and trans community, and I specialize in treatments specifically for us as well. I was working in the industry and realized that it was not an ideal place for people like me, people like you, just my community in general. So I wanted to create a space where anyone could come and feel comfortable and welcome and not like an afterthought. And I specialize in scar care treatments for gender-affirming surgeries, for top surgeries across the board, and for facial feminization surgeries across the board, and any kind of other scarring that folks may encounter along their transitions. I am going to examine their scars just to see the areas that I want to focus on, kind of get a feel for what's going on, if there's any tight tissues where I'm seeing more scarring. They kind of have a bit of hypertrophic scarring going on in certain areas, so I want to make sure that I'm really focusing in on those. I am going to wash their chest with Hydroloofah. I want to get a deep clean, so to make sure you're working on a clean canvas. Towel.
Can you tell us a little bit more about how you got started in the field of aesthetics?
I didn't have my first facial until 2019. Yes. But I got instantly hooked. And then from there, I just decided to go to aesthetic school. And I actually did a mentorship with a different esthetician. And she introduced me to DMK, and I knew from that point on that I wanted to work with DMK. I didn't know at that time the expansive field that DMK offers for its revision therapy. So as I became an esthetician and started working in my own business, I saved up my coin so that I could become a DMK therapist. And from there, I've just fallen in love with everything that I have seen DMK accomplish and everything that DMK stands for. So it was kind of like a no-brainer for me. For other brands, I was like, do I want this brand? I'm not sure. But with DMK, I was like on it. And I've been on it since then. Since they do have a bit of the hypertrophic scarring and pigmentation, we are going to do alkaline wash. There's no particular measurements for alkaline wash. You kind of eye it, and it depends on the area of the body that you're working with. So I'll just do 2 little scoops here. The thinner the consistency, the faster it's going to penetrate the skin. So when I'm doing scarring, I like to have it a little thinner so that I get a better treatment. But if you were going to be doing hair removal or working on thinner scars, you would want to make it just a little bit thicker. You can also mix it with aqua de herb or distilled water. If you mix it with distilled water, it's going to be a lot stronger as well. To be safe, I always just mix it with aqua de herb. When this goes on, they should just feel cold temperature, but they shouldn't feel any burning, any tingling, anything like that. If they do, you want to remove it immediately. And so as you can see, they have chest hair. So alkaline wash doesn't discriminate on what it's going to break down. So it's also going to break down some of their hairs. So I warned them beforehand that we're gonna lose a bit of the hair, and they said that's okay. And so you just wanna apply a thin line. And with alkaline, you just want to work on one side at a time. So I'm going to wait until I'm finished with this side before I go that side. And I'm going to set my timer for 4 minutes. Keep your eye on it the whole time. You never want to put alkaline wash on and then walk away. You always want to make sure you're keeping an eye out, and you always want to make sure that it's moist. If it starts to dry down, it can injure your client.
Your clinic is such a safe haven for the QTPOC LGBTQ community. How have your personal experiences informed your approach in your practice, particularly for highly melanated clients or clients with scar revision needs from gender-affirming procedures?
Absolutely. So I realized early on that this industry doesn't exactly know how to care for melanated skin, especially dark skin, and for scarring. And you see constantly people are like, oh, I went to this esthetician and they messed up my skin. She didn't know how to treat dark skin. In aesthetic school, we are not taught how to treat dark skin. I think there's like a couple days where you focus on it. So as a Black person, I was like, I want to create a space where anyone can come, like of all skin tones, can come and feel comfortable knowing that I know how to treat their skin. There's no second guesses. So that was a main priority for me. And with scarring, I'm someone who hyperpigmentates easily, who scars easily. My best friends are trans people who've had surgery or queer people who've had surgery. I myself have had a top surgery. So healing scars and working with scars has been really important because it's such a huge part of our lives, and a lot of what a lot of us deal with and want to care around, but unfortunately there's not a lot of resources for that care. So, and the fact that DMK has treatments and protocols set out specifically for scarring, it was just like 2 peas in a pod, basically. Match made in heaven, yes. So at the 2-minute mark, because they have that hypertrophic scarring again, I'm gonna go in where those spots were, and I'm just gonna work this in a little bit. Just enough to make sure that it really is worked in. And then I'll let it marinate until the timer goes off. And like I said, you never want the alkaline to dry down, so you just wanna mist it just to make sure that it stays moist. When you remove it, you want to get a very damp 4x4, and then you can wipe away in sections in the way that you applied it. You'll notice that their skin or their scars might feel a little squeaky, is what I call it. That's usually the general feeling after you remove the alkaline wash. Afterwards, you want to go in with a generous dose of Exoderma. This is going to help neutralize anywhere that the alkaline wash was placed so that it will stop working its magic on any part of the body it was applied.
It always kind of baffles me when I hear just people complaining about like snowflakes and the shit. Like in an ideal world, these safe spaces wouldn't have to like necessarily be so, niche or like focused or whatever. Like they exist because there is a gap of knowledge or there's a gap of care or like a gap of intention. And like
absolutely,
I feel like what you're building here is really powerful.
Yeah, I have other estheticians who message me constantly and are like, I have a Black client coming in, like what should I use on that? And I'm like, how do you not know this? That should just, I'm happy to help you, absolutely. But also, shouldn't this just be your common knowledge? Like, this should be everyone's common knowledge who's going to work on anyone's skin.
At least they're asking, but also like, learn, like teach yourself.
Yeah.
Like, like go back, hit the books, like run that back.
Absolutely. After you remove the Exoderma, you want to go in with a little bit of Melanotech drops. So I like to do this all while the alkaline is sitting over there so that it can just marinate a little bit before I apply enzyme and a little bit of beta gel. Now we're going to go back over here to the alkaline and we're going to manipulate it just a little bit into the about scars. When removing the alkaline, you want to make sure that you're using firm pressure, but not too firm that you're going to be like irritating their skin or dragging any of your skin. Ectoderma, very generous amount. Rub that in. But icing is really helping to calm any inflammation, also helping to keep any extra pigment from popping up into these scars after the alkaline.
Can you let us know how DMK is transforming just skin and skin revision for your client base?
I offered these top surgery treatments, scar care treatments, for about 6 months before I became DMK certified. And they were amazing beforehand. But as soon as I got my hands on DMK back bar, on DMK products, and then especially when I became MD certified, right? It was night and day. What I could offer my clients, the home care that I could offer them, in treatment protocols that I could do with DMK has like a gazillion treatments, and they are, every time I read through them, I find out something new. Okay, while the ectoderma is sitting on their skin, I'm going to mix the body enzyme, which is what we're going to be using to rebuild the skin after we just did the alkaline wash. Again, with DMK, I don't really measure. I just eye it, see what I like. So it's usually with the body mask, I do 1 heaping and then maybe half of that. You're gonna mix it with aqua de herb. Okay, just mix to your heart's desire. I like kind of for a body enzyme, I like her a little thick, but not too thick. The thicker the enzyme, the better the revision, in my opinion. Bam, big guns. You just want to paint in an upwards direction towards the heart. I paint up and over, personally. Also, don't be afraid to kind of get it into their armpit. I actually like taking the enzymes in the armpits because we have lymph there and it really helps with that flow. Now they're gonna bake for 30 minutes in the oven. Really, the beauty in it is that there's something for everyone. So for every like micro niche thing that, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like almost like a language. Absolutely. Absolutely. I've been working with DMK for a few years now, and I feel like I'm still like, you have all these tools placed in front of you, and they give you like, here, these work, these work, these work. But as you're starting to play with them your own, you can be like, okay, well, I'm going to mix a little bit of this, or I see that this works better for this person. Mm-hmm. And so there's just like so many opportunities. First, I want to do a little fan because I like to get a little crisp. The red light like makes you sleepy too. It like emits like melatonin or some shit.
Scientific.
So why DMK? Like, what made you think, what made you look at us and go, this is what I need for my clinic?
There's endless knowledge. Like, looking at DMK, it's like you guys take the time to actually have us come to you. We. To teach us exactly. Like, I love that I'm like, okay, I'm going into a class. I'm learning. I can continue on this journey. I always have somebody there to help me. And then to know that DMK is all about revision was another thing that immediately drew me in. It's like, you are concerned for the skin, for scars, for feet, for stretch marks, like all the things that people, it's not just like, here's this brand that only focuses on your facial skin. It's like DMK is like, we got you for everything you need. And I love that. Again, that's like, I don't want anyone to feel like an afterthought. It's like, oh, you need this done. The enzyme is fully set. It's been on the skin for 30 minutes. And now I'm going to remove with my personal favorite is milk cleanser. I do about 8 or 9 pumps with really hot water. Mix it up and then you go to town. I'm super ripped from removing enzymes. In case anyone is wondering, if you don't want to go to the gym, just become a DMK therapist. And then I'm going to put a towel down on their skin to just kind of help loosen everything up.
How would you customize treatments for melanated skin, and why would you say that this kind of like intimate customization is important for clients whose skin may, for example, have a more inflammatory or reactive response to common scar revision treatments?
Well, yes, as someone who definitely has that response, you really want to customize those treatments. And I always start with a skin consultation. Always really look at the skin, feel it, which I feel like maybe people don't really do at first. You really want to get your hands on and feel what you're working with. And like, I honestly feel like it's a misconception when people are like, darker skin, always keloids, because a lot of my non-melanated clients are coming in here with a lot of keloids. So I really take the time to customize treatments for everyone's body and everyone's skin, but especially melanated skin. I really take my time to talk to my clients, figure out how their skin responds to things. I see how their skin responds in treatment. That's one thing you always want to do. You want to like do little test patches if you're unsure. Like talk to your client, talk to them about their home care, how their skin responds in the sun, all that stuff. And just make sure you have a strong arsenal of products in your back bar that can be tailored to anyone's skin. Don't only carry TCA peels or, you know, like, because not everyone can handle a TCA peel. Like, get some Mandelic, get some Kojic, like, get some things that work for darker skin tones. Definitely want to air the towels out just a little bit so they don't burn your client, but you don't want to let too much of that heat escape. And I like to give little squeezes to kind of loosen everything up. When I do enzyme on the face, I like remove that shit in like one towel. It's like a challenge for me every time.
So what inspired you to go for paramedical education with DMK? Were you like already at program 1, like I gotta have it, or like
No.
did it take a little?
I actually, when I started program 1, I didn't know that there was an MD. So I didn't know at all. And as I started using just my basic tools with program 1, people were like, wow, this is so cool that you are accomplishing these things with your basic DMK kits. Like, have you thought about taking MD, or you should take MD so that you can do alkaline? And I was like, what the heck is alkaline wash? Like, so I got actually a lot of motivation from people. They're like, oh, this is great. Wait until you get alkaline wash, is like what I would hear all the time. So as I took program 1 and then I did program 2, and that was really exciting. And I was like, wow, okay, wait, DMK, like, it's like hidden levels. You're like leveling up each time, and like Danae's the boss.
Plans within plans.
So it just really piqued my interest, and I was like, wait, I want to have access to everything. Like, I hate that I only have access to this little section here. I want to have access to everything, so I could literally open my cabinets and be like, what potions am I going to mix together today? And, but with MD, there's so much knowledge and there's so much access. And I love that I can just, again, help my clients with more things now that I have access to the MD paramedical line. And alkaline wash has become a really big hitter in my treatment room. Like, I don't just bust it out for everyone, and I have my fair respect for alkaline wash, but in the instances that I do need it, it's been incredible. It has transformed my clients' treatments. Like, I had a client who I had been working on for a year for revising their scars, and then when I got alkaline wash, it literally, like, their scars are disappeared. And we also
you're pretty fresh.
I'm still pretty fresh.
Indeed,
yeah. And we also worked on their stretch marks. And so at the same time, we did alkaline wash on their stretch marks and on their scars. And their stretch marks it was like a big insecurity for them. And they're almost non-existent now. And it's just like to be able to offer that to my clients is like, I knew that I had to do MD. A little trick though, is I like to go in with one of these little brushes who I got from Birds of Paradise Skin. Shout out to Monique, who's another DMK therapist. I like to just go in and give a little scrub to make sure everything's kind of loosened up. There's nothing hanging on. It's like a little silicone toothbrush.
Watching care that you give, like I'm a Cancer.
Yeah.
Full disclosure. Like watching care that you give somebody confidence.
Yeah. It's something, there's been a lot of tears shed in that room between clients and me because it is really emotional. And a lot of people just like never thought that they would be able to access care like this. And I feel extremely, extremely like thankful that people trust me to do such like intimate care for them.
Well, there's so many things that I could like go off the deep end about being like a trans person and already having to go through like all of these hurdles and then getting, you know, a affirming surgery or like an affirming procedure done. And then it's still there's this like kind of feeling of just not like falling short, but like, you know, the differences in experience are so like visceral that like it's almost like a little bit discouraging. Cause like now, you know, I remember when I first got top surgery, like I have the chest that I want, but you know, it's not like there's still something that it's like an insecurity or like kind of just like reminds me of like the chest that I had that makes me dysphoric. And like I've been a model for a bunch of MD classes and alkaline wash has done me right. Like I have crazy hypertrophic scarring on this left side, and it's been really amazing for me.
Yeah, it really is a game changer. You want to follow up with, again, Melanotech drops, Beta Gel, and Contraderm, especially if you're doing alkaline. We did removed with the alkaline, we rebuilt with the enzyme, and now we're going to protect with our home prescriptives.
How would you say that DMK's principles support your vision to provide inclusive, effective skin revision for all your clients?
Absolutely. Well, first off, I love that DMK is a brand with an openly queer owner and employees. That is just incredible and very prideful. Like, I love that. And again, the array of products that we have and the remove, rebuild, protect, maintain, like bringing that into my treatments, I'm able to explain that and break it down for my clients. And they are able to understand what I'm doing, and they're able to understand why it's important to take these products home and use them as well. And so to protect these results, I'm going to be sending them home with some home prescriptives to care for their scars. The same that I'm using now, I will be sending them home with.
How do you ensure that your practice remains warm and welcoming for all clients while still centering your core communities?
Yeah, absolutely. So Pansy is specifically for the LGBTQ communities, BIPOC communities, and allies. Everyone is welcome, but I like to put it out there that this studio highlights and shines and welcomes my queer communities, my queer and trans communities, my Black and brown communities, but everyone is welcome to walk in the door as long as you uplift and support and love us. You know, I actually have a lot of clients who send their parents, which I love, who send their siblings. Like, I had one client's mom knock on my door and she said, hi. When I opened, she said, hi, my child is non-binary and they sent me here. I love that. I absolutely love that. So yeah, I always tell people my doors are open to any and everyone, but as long as you are an ally and as long as you are open-minded and welcoming and loving.
And if you feel excluded by that, what changes do you think need to take place in the aesthetics industry to better serve QTPOC clients?
Well, I think there needs to be better education. I think there needs to be a focus. Like I said before, in aesthetic school, there's no focus at all. It's kind of like, here is skin, and then we'll talk to you about how to do a little bit of treatments on like Black, brown, or Asian skin.
It's like white is like the default.
I know. It's like, hello, excuse me. So I definitely think there needs to be more of a focus on this in schools and more of a focus outside of school as well. Like once you're out of aesthetic school, your education doesn't just stop there. You really want to keep going and take all kinds of courses, all kinds of classes, and just like yourself continue to learn. So I think that there definitely more brands also need to be more inclusive. Another reason why I love DMK, because DMK is very inclusive, not only of all genders, but of all skin tones, where a lot of brands, they only have products that work for fits 1 and 2, And so I think the change of, hey, we're only going to make products that, works for a range of skin.
Or like the backbone is applicable to everybody.
Yes. And then, not just, it's like, I understand, okay, you develop certain products at a time, but like a lot of these brands develop one set of product and then stop.